the worst restaurant experience I've ever had. Why am I talking like that? Welcome to my video. Hi. Storytime on Cheesecake Factory. Why am I yelling? I tried to do my eyes like inspired by Nicki Minaj today and just doing like on the outer corners. I'm so excited. I feel like it turned out really well and I'm like hyping myself up every 5 minutes about it. I'm making it my whole personality now, just like doing these little extensions. So if you see me talking about it, look the other way, girl. Because I'm loving it. Okay, pause. If you guys haven't seen my very last 2 videos, I will link them down below. I have 3 older videos that I want to get out of the way, and this is 3 out of 3. So all my old videos are now up and out of the way and can move on to new content. I did save, I guess you would say, the best for last because a lot of you guys request story times, so I'm very excited to give you a story time. So enjoy if you don't mind older content. So yay for new content after this. Love you guys. The sun is going down, so I'm trying to film this before the sun completely shuts me out. So I went to the States yesterday. I came back. Wow. Also, aren't those people so annoying that say like, I flew in yesterday from out of town, my arms are tired, or like your arms must be tired, or people that respond like that, like go to hell. Okay, so preface, I love Cheesecake Factory. This was the worst Cheesecake Factory experience. Also the worst restaurant experiences I've ever had. You guys love my story times. You guys tell me to do more story times. Well, I can't just do more because like story times just happen in my life, right? And this one I was like, story freaking time. I got my titties done in the States. I went to Florida with Austin, my boyfriend, and a day before my surgery, I thought it was a great idea, a day before plastic surgery, the night before, less than 12 hours I have to have surgery, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. My nerves are through the roof. I'm having surgery tomorrow. Like I could die under the knife. Like, let's be honest. And I take it upon myself. I think it's a great idea. Like, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. So stupid. Fail on my part. Also, just realized how long my hair is getting. Like, she's almost down to my boobs. I literally took jot notes, and they're the full page of like, just so I just keep everything in check and remember everything. First of all, Austin has never been to Florida, and he's never been to Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory is my favorite restaurant. Like, favorite restaurant. I've been telling him since we started dating, so almost like 3 years. When did we start dating? I've been telling him through our whole relationship, whenever it started. Like how good Cheesecake Factory is. I've been hyping it up so much. And I told him like the #1 thing from there is the chicken Bellagio and the Buffalo Blasts. Throughout the years of us dating, I always like randomly just go on Cheesecake Factory website and see like what their new items are, just because I love them so, even though I can't go there because I'm pretty sure they're only in the States. Anyway, there could be like a couple locations in Canada, probably in Toronto and Vancouver. So Austin had a super high hopes and expectations already because I was hyping it up to the tits about this shit. Why am I so vulgar today? We went to a couple states and where the Cheesecake Factories were, where we were like hours away. So I was like, oh, is it worth it? Yes, but we didn't have enough time. So I waited until it was a place that was like, you know, like we were in Florida, we were going to like, we were in Hollywood, we were in Fort Lauderdale, we were in Miami, we were all over. So like there were Cheesecake Factories all over. So I was like, let's go a day before my surgery because the day before that, it was a shit show, traveling, getting there. I had been up for over 30 hours. So Cheesecake Factory wasn't the vibe. I was like, let's just do it the next day. No, worst day to do it. Literally worst day to do it. We should have done it as I was recovering because, okay, first of all, we're both really nervous. We were out all day doing like fun things in Florida and we just wanted a really good meal. Okay, so we get there. It's in the mall. I forget what mall. Don't ask. Why would anyone ask? No one's gonna ask. So Austin gives his phone number and the area code there is 305 and our area code where we are, ironically, is 306. Anyways, she's like, phone number, and Austin's like, 306, and she goes, 305, and we're like, no, he's like, no, 306. They were also so nice. Best service I've ever had. Literally, so nice. Amazing waiters and waitresses. Amazing chef's kiss. Hopefully the chef kisses them all. Oh, never mind. Me canceled. Okay, so she's like 305, and it's so busy in there. Okay, so we have to park. We couldn't find parking, by the way. We parked like 6 blocks away at least. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, so glad it was before surgery. I would have been like, So we get all the way there. The lineup is out the door, and I'm like, the Cheesecake Factory is always like this. Like, whenever I go, it's always like this too. I was like, it's fine. Whatever the amount of time is, we'll wait, is what I'm telling Austin. So he's like, oh my God, there's like a lot of people here. We get in there to like, you know, I'm like reversing the story and like telling you guys what the interaction is with the hostess and then going backwards. I'm sorry. In like large crowds, Austin gets flustered and anxious a little bit, and he like just needs to like focus and concentrate. So if she's asking phone number, he really just like background noise really affects him. She's like, okay, 305, and he's like, no, 306, and she's like, yeah, and that's what I tell you. She's like, yeah, 305, and so it's funny to think of now. It wasn't at the time, and I'm like deaf. I'm like an old 85-year-old man, so I'm like, ha? And he's like 306. He said, we're from out of town. She goes, oh, okay, sorry. Got the phone number, got the name, and she's like, we'll text you when your table's ready. So we were in the mall, so we said, why don't we just go look around this mall? It literally takes like a full minute. Now, many people might not think like a full minute is a long time. Time a minute on your phone and like just walk around your bedroom. Like, it's actually a while, especially if you're staring at that clock, okay? So it takes like a full minute to get all the way through the people just to talk to the lady, and then a full minute to walk all the way through, back out. So I'm just saying that there's just a lot of people there. There's like 50 to 60 people in just the waiting for like to get either checked in or waiting to talk to her. Like, there's a lot of people, not including like the waiters and waitresses walking around, people leaving, people going to the bathroom, the people in the restaurant seated. Like, it's a lot. It's a commotion, right? It's like a lot going on. He's like, can we just go walk around? So yeah, he's gonna get a text on his phone anyway. It's perfectly fine. We start walking around, and I say to him, what if she put in 306, like what, or 305, what if she put in 305? And he looks at his phone, and he's like a little flustered at this point, I can tell. So I'm trying to take his mind off of the like Cheesecake Factory busyness right now, and he looks at his phone. He's like, no, they confirmed it on my phone. They said that, you know, your table will be ready. They said 5 to 10 minutes. And I was like, wow, like there were so many people waiting. How is it 5 to 10 minutes? Like, like sorcery, I tell you. Sorcery, we're living in a simulation. I'm like, good luck to us. So it was really weird that she was like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm like, is she sure? Like, is she here where I am? So we continue walking around the mall. It's like all high-end stores. It's like Gucci, Chanel, Prada, Louis Vuitton. Like, it's like, I feel like it's a rap music video. I'm like, Gucci, Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada. And there's so many things going on in the mall. Like, there's like some like fashion show thing that's going on. There's a lot of stores. The mall's super busy. There's like things in the middle of the mall. Not like a bake sale. Why did I think that? Like a little market. Like markets going on. So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of things going on. So Austin can't really think straight. So I can just see it in his face that he's like frazzled. So that's like one thing that made it like not enjoyable experience, because when you're with somebody, you want them to have an enjoyable experience. You want your significant other to have a good experience, and you feel that, right? Like, I could feel his frazzled, and I could feel that he wasn't having a good time. So I could just, you know, I was like trying to calm him down, and then he could tell I was trying to calm him down, and he could tell that he was like, you know, it just like vibes were not good. Also, I'm having surgery in the morning, so he's worried about that. I'm worried about that. I'm like a little bit, and there's just a lot of commotion. So we walk down this whole thing of this mall. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. We're at the other side of the mall now. So we're like, oh, I need to go to the washroom. He goes, so do I. So we thought they were gonna be at the end, and they weren't. So we see a sign to go upstairs, that there's washrooms up there. So I was like, should we go up? And then he's like, I'll see how long it's been. So he looks at his phone. They had messaged him that our table was ready 3 minutes ago. We've been walking from the one end, so the Cheesecake Factory was at one end to the other end for I don't even know how long. What, a half an hour, 20 minutes? Who even knows? Time just like left. So I was like, oh my God, they're gonna give our table away, because there were so many people. I was like, oh my God. So we don't start running, because we're not like that desperate. The cardio can wait. But we start like scuttling. We're crabs. We're doing like a crab shuffle. You know, we're not just walking, we're like, we look like crabs. Like, with the eyeballs. I'm sick. So we start scuttling across the mall. Did you know like speed walking used to be like an Olympic sport? Like shit, we would have killed it at that. So I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna give our table away. Every time like we got to like an opening section of the mall, you know, like we could turn this way, it felt like we had already seen these things. Like it felt like just like a movie reel. Like I felt like more stores just kept coming and coming. It was like it was making me almost like sick because I was like seeing so many stores. It was giving me like social anxiety. Like I felt like the walls were like closing in almost, and it was like, and then immediately my brain's like, oh, don't worry about it. Worry about tomorrow with the surgery, right? And I'm like, ugh. So we finally get there. We're like almost low-key running at this point. Again, there's no opening, and you can't be like, excuse me, people, because like there's so many people. There's even more people in the waiting. So there's like a line in every direction. There's like 2 entrances. There's a lineup for the washroom. There's a lineup for the counter of cheesecakes. There's a lineup for the talk to the person. There's a lineup to have a seat to sit down. There's lineups everywhere. So we can't just like walk up and be like, hello, our table's ready. There are so many other people standing in line with their phones because you can see that their table is ready too. So we can't just walk in front of them. So we wait in this line again. We finally get up there and Austin goes, I got a notification, my table's ready. She's like, okay, it'll be like 2 minutes. So we wait there, we wait another about 10 minutes. So that's really quick. Like amazing on them. Wow, their service so quick. So like with that many people, they were so respectful, amazing. Like we tipped well because like just their service was so good. So that's one thing that I'm gonna say is like this has nothing to do with their service. Their service was immaculate. So when our server comes up, she's like, I'm sorry for the delay. Thank you guys so much for waiting. She was so nice, and she said, I will let you guys know that we're out of. And as soon as she says out of, my world's like, no, like because I've been waiting for this. I had to go to a different country to be here. Like you cannot be out of anything. Me being entitled, like I'm like putting my fork in the, ow, that actually hurt. I have a hard punch. Watch, you better watch it. But then she says, we're out of all the breads except one kind. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then she said, we have only, and I was just waiting for it, and she goes, honey wheat. And I said, yes, because that's my favorite bread from the Cheesecake Factory anyway. So I'm like, oh. I usually dislike wheat bread or like wheaty bread. I always say that, then I end up loving wheat bread. So bitch, I can just start saying, no, I like wheat bread. So I was like, whatever, like them being out of all the other breads, not a big deal. Like not a big deal if that's the only thing they're out of. So Austin's looking at the menu and he's like, why are there so many items? And I was like, he's so overwhelmed that he like can't like just loosen and let himself like, you know, laugh and like relax. And I'm saying that in like nicely. I just feel so bad for him. There's just so much commotion. And guess where we sat? We sat right beside the girl taking like orders, like the hostess who's like taking people's like phones and names and numbers. We're sitting right next to there. So like people that are coming in from outside, like I have a view just right of them. So they're like the first person that they see when they walk in is me staring at them, because like that's like I feel like there's nowhere else to really look. We can just hear people like saying like 305 2 you know, like yelling their phone numbers and like names and like, hey, party for 4. And like the kitchen is also right like where Austin's view is, like right there. So like people are like yelling orders, and like it's a lot more commotion than just standing over where we were, if that makes sense. When she's taking our orders, we kind of have to like, I had to like go like this because like I said, like I'm deaf and like I can't, I'll like listen to their conversation about butter chicken and I won't be able to tell her about the freaking chicken Bellagio that I want, and then it's just gonna be a nightmare because I'll be like and then she's gonna think I'm an alien and kick me out. And then I'm gonna go boop, 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 back to my planet. So I open the menu and the first thing I see on the appetizers is Buffalo Blast. And I'm like, ah! I was telling Austin all about them. So she comes back, we order those, and then we just order our entrees at the same time. I got the chicken Bellagio. I just got a water, Austin got a beer, and he ended up hating it. So there's another bad thing. Like, he just hated it. He was like, it's so disgusting. Has nothing to do with Cheesecake Factory, though. He just didn't like his beer, but he was like gagging it down. So he went to the washroom, came back, and then I said, I'm gonna go now to the bathroom. I started going to the bathroom, so I literally have to say, excuse me, past everyone. There is like a hallway and then a door for the bathroom, and then you open the door and there's like another little hallway-ish, and then the main bathroom's in there. So I start walking down this like little hallway. I grab the door, and as soon as I open it, there's like low-key screaming. Like, ew, ah, and I'm hearing that. I'm like inside the door. So I open it, and like people, it looks like a mad show in there. People are like, oh, there's people like this, holding their nose, going like this, gagging. And I'm like, children, teenagers, an old lady. There's also a line to go to the bathroom, and I can just hear like people like gagging and like commotion. I'm so confused. People are like going like this, like wiping their stomachs, wiping their shirts, wiping their legs. They're gagging. They're going like this, and I'm like looking like, what's going on? And then I look and I realize like there is a giant like thing of puke on the floor. Skip to this if like you do not want to see, because I know it's a trigger warning. A lot of people like get sick sick or if you talk about or think about puke. So skip to this if you want to avoid me talking about puke and you want to just hear the rest of the story. So skip to this right now, you've been warned. Yeah, there's puke and it is like a pink color. It'd be cute as a dress, not on a dress. I come to realize by like everyone's commotion and everyone's different conversations around me that it just happened like right before I opened that door. Like it just hit the floor, like it was still warm. So I'm like, okay, like I can deal with puke. Like I'm around drunk people all the time. Me and my friends are always drunk. I'm always cleaning up puke. Like it's fine. Like but like it does stink. It smells like literally, I know the girl had Parmesan cheese and like a strawberry daiquiri because that's exactly what it smelled like. And it looks like everyone around is like literally like, I feel like being so dramatic. But then I can see that there are at least 3 people that have puke on their outfits. So this person must have opened the doors and just like puked on people because that is one conversation that I like heard, like, because there were so many people talking and like it was commotion, but I did catch like a sentence of somebody in the bathroom saying, oh my God, I can't believe she just opened the door and puked everywhere. So I don't know if that meant the doors of the washrooms and puked everywhere or the door that I'm standing in that she just puked, but I don't know. But it happened. So I didn't see it, but I sure smelt it. There was a mother with her child's feet in the sink. Like she was holding the child like this and she was wiping her child's feet in the sink because they were covered in puke. Like she had her little shoes on the counter and her white socks, she was like scrubbing them because there was puke on her like little girl's socks and shoes, and she was crying. Like the little girl was crying. So like that's like one thing. And then there was this girl in front of me, like a teenage girl. They were like 2 teenage girls together, and she was like this, gagging, like closing like this with her nose, and her friend was like grabbing paper towels and wiping her shirt for her because there was puke on her shirt. And I was like, oh my God, like it was like literally like the biggest commotion ever. The line cleared out because there were some people that couldn't even handle like the situation. So like at least 4 people in front of me dipped. They left. I was like, oh, whatever. I worked in a funeral home for a bit, so like I've smelled worse than puke. So like you know, there's like a little trick you can do, like to, it's like almost like sticking your tongue to the roof of your mouth, like to like, you know, just not like taste the puke and just like smell it, if that makes sense. Like if you smell something really gross, you can kind of just like block off your senses. It's hard for me to explain, but if you know how to do it, if you live in or work in stinky situations, you know what I mean. So that's just what I had to do because it was like literally disgust. Like I think it would be different if I was in there and been puked on or watched somebody puke. Then I feel like it would be a different situation. So maybe I shouldn't say they were being dramatic. I didn't experience it. I just experienced the aftermath. But the line sure cleared up. I was like, yeah. There were people crying, people like gagging, people holding their nose, people like, oh my God, it's so disgusting. There's this one girl, she was like 2 people in front of me. She was like, this is so disgusting. That's so disgusting. And she just like left. And I was like, anyway, so I got into the washroom quickly. I peed very quick. Like I just shooted it out and then I washed my hands and left. The little girl was still having her feet cleaned when I was washing my hands. So it was like disgusting. And it looked like it stained her white socks, which sucked. You have to like step around it when you left the washroom. So as soon as I got over there, it didn't smell anymore. So I was like, anyway, so I went back to my table, told Austin this story, right? And he's like, oh my God, I don't want to hear that. I have a hair on me. He's like, I don't want to hear that. I mean, obviously he doesn't want to hear it. Why would I be telling him? And then I realized that there is puke on my shoe. And I was like, cool. Like I can literally smell it a little bit and I can see it. Like, cause it was hard not to step in it. I just try to ignore it, right? And have a good night. And then the buffalo blasts come. It doesn't help that when we took a bite out of the buffalo blast, the inside looks exactly like the puke on the floor. So it literally exactly. So I'm like, I literally couldn't eat the buffalo blast because of whoever that was. So thank you so much, Parmesan daiquiri girl, for puking on my buffalo blast, pretty much. You could definitely smell alcohol in it. That's honestly, I feel like that little girl is not gonna recover. Like she's always gonna have that memory. I feel like it's like a core memory to be like puked on at Cheesecake Factory. Like that's something like people don't forget, right? It threw my appetite off. The overwhelmingness, my surgery the next morning, it had nothing to do with the girl puking. Like people need to puke. Like what is she supposed to do? Hold it in, right? People need to go. And like she obviously didn't do it on purpose. Like people make mistakes. It's fine. And she probably feels horrible and embarrassed as it is. And now I'm telling it on the internet. Okay. Just the vibes just weren't there, you know? It wasn't cheesecake energy. Maybe it was. Our entrees come shortly after. Great service. Our waitress was amazing. And Austin goes to pick up his fork and he drops it. It goes out of his hand and drops on the floor. Literally everyone around us had to turn and go. Like for some reason, Like, they were so busy in there. Like, you could have said, me, blah, 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 and no one would have cared. But a fork dropping on the floor, like, literally everyone turned around and looked. I'm like, okay. Like, anyway, so we're eating, and then I go to, like, grab the vlog camera, because it's, like, we have a huge table, by the way. So I go like this, my fork drops on the floor. Like, literally, bye. Again, everyone around us stops and like has to stare at us. Like, okay, so now I'm thinking, cool, people probably think we're like drunk or something like that, because like, why would we be dropping cutlery everywhere? Like, what is happening here? Like, embarrassing. Okay, so we're literally both sitting there staring at our plates. Austin starts eating the bread again. My meal is like pasta and chicken. Like, I can't just eat it with a spoon or a fork or whatever. Or a knife, I mean. I need a fork. It's so busy in there trying to get our waitress's attention. Like, bye. It's like a milestone. It's not happening. We flag down another server and we just say, hi, sorry, we both dropped our frickin' forks. Can we have new ones? And they brought us some right away. So thank goodness. I literally take one bite, and when we got our new forks, we both take a bite, and immediately we look at each other, and he's like, it's good, it's really good. And when he goes like that, I look at him and I'm like, do you just want to take this to go? And he's like, no, this is like your place, and I want to do this for you, and like, you have surgery in the morning, and I want to do this for you. And I was like, no, like, we can take it to go. We could just be with me and you in the hotel. And he's like, I think that would be a really good idea. He's like, I'm just having such bad anxiety. And I was like, I can tell, and like, I'm like really stressed out too for surgery, and just like, wasn't the vibe, and it just wasn't a good time. You know what I mean? I think we would have had a better time just taking it to go. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just like, where you eat, it doesn't matter. It's who you eat with and what the vibes are. I keep saying vibes. I'm gonna stop saying that word. Like, you know what I mean? It just wasn't it. There were so many bad things. The universe was basically telling us to like not eat there. We made up a lie, and we said to our server, because our server came and checked on us, because we just took our first bite, and we said, we have something planned, actually. We forgot how late it was. Can we just get a couple to-go boxes? And she said, yeah, oh my god, of course. And she's like, of course. And she brought the to-go boxes. Literally, I had 2 bites out of my food, and Austin had like a bite. It was just like so much anxiety. I felt like I couldn't swallow, and like my appetite was like gone. It wasn't just the throw up. Like, it had nothing, maybe it contributed to it a little bit, but it was just like everything, and like the swarming around of people, and people coming in and out, in and out. We paid the bill. The guy actually was from our city. He was from Saskatoon, and he was asking us about like the blades and stuff. He's like, I miss it there. That was really ironic. So yeah, the guy, there was a guy server when we were paying our female server. Anyways, that people might be like, I thought it was a girl. Austin's talking to them because he's paying the bill, and I go to like collect my purse, and when I do that, when I go like this to collect my purse, my ear's right here, right? I hear across, like directly in front of us, the table right there, her saying, how embarrassing filming your meal. So I don't know if that's to me, because we're in Florida. Lots of people are probably filming their meal, right? But I just look over, and she's looking directly at me with this puss ass, bitch ass, Karen ass face. Like, and then when I look, she's like, pathetic. So that kind of snapped me out of everything, because I'm like, what? And she's looking directly at me. Like, literally, when I was filming, the entire clips that I filmed, I literally filmed just like the buffalo blast, the chicken Bellagio, and Austin's meal. Maybe the bread. And I wasn't even talking during the clips. They were like just silent, because I was going to talk over them. I put them in the vlog. I just did like a voiceover, because I wasn't like, hey, we're having this. I wasn't being loud. I wasn't filming, like talking. I just was like silent, going like this over my food. Why does it matter what I'm doing at my table, unless I'm like, hey everyone, like I'm having chicken Bellagio, and I'm like ruining your time? I could understand that, but I'm not even talking to my camera. I'm silent. I'm just like this over my food, right? I could be doing a seance over my food if I wanted to. It's my food. It's my table. And if I was like interrupting your meal or your time, then I could understand. Like, yeah, if I was doing like a whole show or something like that, or if I was like speaking loudly, or like, you know, and trying to include you, or talking over you, or laughing loudly, or being drunk or something, I could understand. But like, I literally wasn't doing anything to her. They also did like a birthday celebration thing, and asked the waiters and waitress to take pictures of them. I never said anything. You're basically filming and taking pictures. I'm doing the same thing, but of my food. And you're like, literally, they had a birthday cake and they were going like this, and like, they're going like this, happy birthday. Like, you're doing the same thing I am. There's a picture of your food, like, what? She was so grumpy. And then I look at who she's with, and there's like this little kid eating. The husband is like looking at me and then looks away like this because she's obviously talking to him, but she's staring right at me. So I'm like staring at her because like, really, I'm not taking that. Like, that, like, what? Like, for no reason. Like, for no reason. Like, wasn't mean to her at all. Didn't disrespect her, didn't do anything to her, and she's just choosing to be mad at me. So I'm like staring at her, and then she's like just staring at me back, and she's so mad at me for no reason. Maybe she's one of my haters. I have no idea. So I'm like staring at her, and I was like, imagine getting mad at somebody for filming their own food in a restaurant and not focusing on yourself. And I went, like a bitch. Like, I laughed like a bitch, like to be punched in the face. Like, literally, like, punch me in the face. I don't care, because like, I'm not being treated like that for no reason. I didn't do anything. Like, okay. And then she just went, she kept going like this, and she's like, and then she went back to her food, and then I could see her kept like looking over, and I could hear her making remarks and talking under her breath, but I was like, you know what? We're not having this. Nope, I'm not doing it, because like, I will literally like drop my fork accidentally on her head. Like, what? Just enjoy your frickin' cheesecake and your husband. I should have collected some puke in the bathroom and shoved it on her face. So I was just too nervous to eat. Austin was like, he couldn't even like chew food down. He was having such bad anxiety. So we just packed up the food and left. We were in the mall still, and it was like, just felt like, I don't know, it felt like stuffy almost. Like, you couldn't really take a full deep breath. And as soon as we got outside, we were both like, oh, like we both like let out like a sigh of relief. It was just, oh, thank God. It had been raining earlier, or like while we were in there, so there were puddles on the ground, and I went, oh my God, I need to stop right here because there was some puke on my shoe. So I splashed in the puddle, and then like just like kind of like washed my shoe in the puddle. You know, like, this is my foot. Here's the puddle. Wait. Here's the puddle, here's my foot. So I just went like this around the puddle, you know, like kind of like washing it. And I could just smell that like puke smell coming back. I was like, Parmesan cheese. Austin caught a whiff of it. He's like, like gagging and going like this. And I was like, I know, I told you. So I like, we keep walking, and I could still smell it. And he was like, oh my God, don't walk near me. And now we were laughing. So at least we got to like, you know, laugh and have a good time. So I jumped into the other puddle because I didn't want, like, because this is a Tesla we're renting. I'm not going to put puke in it. Like, that's, no. And I don't want my pukey shoes in the hotel room, like, and wafting in there for like a week and a half. Hell no. So I just like keep going on all these puddles. It gets out. There's no more pink or red on my shoe. Thank God. We go back to the hotel, and about an hour after that, Austin is hungry to eat. I am way too nervous. I don't eat, and I can't eat after midnight. And I think it was like around 10-ish p.m. at that point when he started eating. So I was like, I don't want to risk it. Like, you know what I mean? I just drank some water and tried to go to sleep to get ready for surgery in the morning. My surgery went fine, by the way. While he was eating, I was laying in bed next to him. He said, it's okay, food. So he's like, I don't know, like Cactus Club's better. I was like, like, okay, Cactus Club is good, but I was like, like literally, literally, I couldn't deal. But okay, I need to pause again for you guys. I'm sorry, but I just rewatched the Florida vlog when we came home from the Cheesecake Factory, and I need to address this before I get called a lie bag. So I'm gonna let you guys watch these clips from the vlog when we got back from the Cheesecake Factory. Here you go. Okay, well, we had a good time at Cheesecake Factory. First time going. It was really busy, so it was a little overwhelming. So I'm not gonna lie, we took a lot of the food home, and I can't eat now. Well, in an hour, but I'm just gonna 2 hours, but I'm just gonna play it safe and not eat now. How'd you like it? Do you like Cheesecake Factory?
Good. Yeah, the bread was really good. Chicken was good. Buffalo Bass good. Yes. Samuel Adams not so good. That was my fault because I don't like dark lagers or loggers.
I'm scared. So we had an enjoyable time. Food was really good, but yet I just did a whole story time saying it was the worst experience ever. How does that make sense? At the time, I think we were just very overwhelmed and my head was all over the place. Well, it was me saying that it was a very good experience, so I should just speak for myself. So I wasn't really thinking in the right state of mind. I had surgery. I had to go to sleep. I was hungry but couldn't eat. You know, all the nerves and stuff like that shooting through my body. So it's understandable. And the food was good to me. And Austin saying the food was good, he's a lie bag. Just kidding, just kidding. I think he was just also flustered, like I explained through this whole story time. I think we were just trying to make a positive out of it because I had major surgery in the morning. I honestly think that's what it was. It was not an enjoyable experience, but to me, the food was good. I don't even know how to explain that clip. We're just like out of our minds, like, hello. Fail! Cheesecake Factory fail! Like, it was just a bad time. That was a long story, I'm sorry. I would love to know your guys' cheesecake stories. Please leave your cheesecake stories down below, or cheesecake fails, or Cheesecake Factory fails, or your bad Cheesecake Factory times. Also, Cheesecake Factory is my favorite restaurant still, and they still stand as my favorite restaurant. They're amazing food, and that's not going to stop me from going there or loving it. So I love you, Cheesecake Factory. It has nothing to do with you. I am going to go now. I hope you guys had a great time listening to this. If you guys want more story times, hit the thumbs up button, and I will talk to you guys all in my next video. I love you guys so much. Bye.